Oh. We're off to a great start. Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Premiere Period. My name is Jake Elliff. I'm joined by my co-host Connor Reese and Ridge Watson. We are a couple of teachers from Arab High School who want to talk about English Premier League. So guys, welcome to the first episode. How are you feeling about our first ever episode, Ridge?
Feeling pretty good. You're talking loud. Do I need to talk louder?
I mean, I've got good energy.
You've got good energy.
I just chugged a red.
It's my fault.
That's what you've got to.
I haven't had coffee since 10 o'clock this morning.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
That's detrimental for a teacher.
That's my fault.
And your planning period is like seventh period.
So it's been a drag.
Yeah, we're all kind
I'm
of
feeling good. I don't really know what else to say. I love Premier League soccer, and I'm excited to talk about it. I brought the Union Jack here as our coffee. Not our coffee. See, I'm thinking about coffee now. Our tablecloth, the Union Jack.
Oh, you brought this?
Yeah.
It's a nice little
Straight out of
feature.
my world history classroom.
There we go. Nice
Pulled
little
it
feature.
down. My kids don't get it, so we get it.
Yeah, so I think it's a great place to start is the fact that how did all of this come to be? Connor, if you want to kind of tell the backstory, because you've been in EPL for a little bit, but maybe tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into it, and what you think about EPL.
Yeah, so I got into soccer maybe about 10 years ago. Of course, I started off really focusing more on MLS. I was a big supporter of Atlanta United. And so maybe not 10 years ago. I think it was like 2018, 2019. Well, then I kind of got out of it, and then I figured out that, hey, there's a few teachers at the high school that really like soccer, and it's specifically Premier League. So I'd never really gotten into Premier League. Well, then I had to figure out, like, what team do I go for? So
You chose the best one.
yeah, well, questionable. Not this year so far, but I did a little research, and I ended up going for Newcastle United. And so far this season, I want to slam my head so far into a wall that I want it to hurt, take a little bit of the pain away. But like, where did this podcast come from? We all have the same lunch period, and so we always talk about Premier League soccer. And so I think you, Jake, came up with the idea, hey, we should do a podcast. And so here we are, episode 1.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out a way that how we could get what's going on in the classroom and make it real world for the students. But then I was like, well, we've already got all this equipment. We might as well just use it for something that we're already talking about at lunch. So I think it's going to be awesome. Rich, tell us a little bit about your entry point into EPL, who you go for, and maybe a little bit about yourself.
I was going to ask who you think who's the OG Premier League fan here at the high school. I guess it would be Chris.
It'd have to be Chris.
Because he's from...
Our janitor, is that?
Yeah. Custodian, Chris. Is he from Newcastle or that part of the country?
I think it's close to London. So I don't really know how Newcastle came about.
Newcastle seems like a blue collar,
Yeah.
organization, and I think that's what Chris is. So I guess he relates a lot with them. I don't know. He's a lot more passionate about it than we are. But last year we picked up fantasy. So playing fantasy really got me into it as far as like learning all the names and learning a little bit more about team history and that kind of stuff. And like Connor alluded to, at lunch we kind of just we talked about it because I don't know the fourth guy who will be in here with us, our band director, P Daly. He's going to be. I shouldn't say that anymore. That was actually not planned.
I think we get that one started, everybody.
Just edit that out, Jake. Anyway, Daly, he always talked about it, and he's a big Liverpool guy. But I'm a Tottenham Hotspur fan, and for not a whole lot of reason other than I really liked watching Gareth Bale. I always liked watching him during the World Cup. He played for Wales, and I always liked watching him. He had his little man bun, which I thought was really cool when I was younger. But then I played FIFA, and he was one of the best players on FIFA. And I always liked the logo, like the simplicity of like the Hotspur. It's like a rooster. But I always liked the logo. The colors were cool. I don't know, red, white, and blue, I guess. And I don't know, but they're one of like the big boys of the clubs, but they're not the top.
Yeah.
They're not always at the top. So I didn't want to come in and choose Man City or Arsenal or Chelsea because who likes those kind of people?
Yeah, that's kind of my entry point as well. Is that came to lunch with you guys this year. Y'all are talking about English Premier League. I played soccer in high school, so I love soccer, but it'd been kind of disconnected from it for a while. And then you guys started talking about English Premier League, and I was like, this is insane. I love this. This is cool. And so obviously my first step was going to have to be to pick a team. And so I was walking through all the different teams. I was doing the research, listening to podcasts, trying to find documentaries, anything I could find. I mean, I was even looking at their social media, and I was like, which one looks the coolest? That'll be how I decide. And I thought the You'll Never Walk Alone thing from Liverpool was great. So I was like, I guess I'll just be a Liverpool fan. Patrick, who's our band director, is a Liverpool fan. So I was like, well, we'll have something to talk about. And so that's where I started. But then as I started watching, I was like, I cannot be the bandwagon guy who picks. It would be like picking the Yankees when you're like, oh, I like baseball. I'll go for the Yankees or the Dodgers. And I was like, I can't do that.
I feel like your heart and soul wasn't even in it, really, to be a Liverpool fan. You didn't seem like a Liverpool guy.
No, I definitely wasn't. I think it was just like, oh, this is the chalk pick. This is great. I watched like 2 weeks, and then I was like, the thing is, the games were even exciting. I enjoyed watching Liverpool play, but I don't know. It's one of those things when you're a sports fan, either your heart is in it or it's not. Yeah, and even if a team is good, it doesn't really matter. So I was like, I got to pick another team. And quite honestly, I think, the reason that I picked Crystal Palace, and I don't even think I've told y'all this.
The better team as of Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I picked them because when we went to Disney World for the first time this year, my family, we went, my favorite restaurant that we ate at was called Crystal Palace. Wow. And so I just keep thinking of Disney World every time, I'm a true Disney adult, I guess.
Meant to be.
And so, so that's why I picked them. But I guess I made a great choice because they're doing pretty well. And we'll talk about that a little bit on the episode today. So I think that's a good introduction. When we come back, we'll talk about a quick pitch of everything that happened last week. We'll be right back. And we're back. Let's talk about everything that happened this past weekend. Maybe you didn't get to watch. Maybe you were like me and you were at Ivy Green trying to learn about Helen Keller with your children, or,
Is she real?
That's a conversation for another time.
Did she fly the plane?
That's a great question. That will be on episode 376 of Premiere Period, or maybe the 30th hour of this podcast. But for now, let's get into everything that happened. We call this Quick Pitch. Here's everything you need to know about what happened in Premier League this weekend. All right, starting off with Brentford versus Man U. Thiago, let the rhythm take you over, Thiago. He backs too early. Two early beauties to put Brentford up 2-0. And though Sesko ping-ponged one into United's goal, Keller looked and locked Bruno Mars out of heaven. Man U boys are not stopping anytime soon, or maybe they are, because in stoppage time, Jensen smolders one home and then smolders at the camera, leaving United up in smoke 3-1. Moving on to Chelsea versus Brighton. Enzo's header gives Chelsea a spark, but then Chalobah, that's right, went full Excalibur with a spike and a red card. Danny Boy Welbeck sings his song by scoring twice, and De Cowper added the dagger, and Brighton strummed a 3-1 comeback symphony. Moving on to Palace versus Liverpool. Sarr scored early for Palace, and despite Liverpool's possession, it was the Eagles who looked sharper. In the final seconds, Katia, that's right, landed the TKO knockout blow for Palace to hand Liverpool their first loss of the season. Leeds versus Bournemouth. Semenyo opens for Bournemouth. Joe Rodon goes full Joe Rogan, and Longstaff measures up to give Leeds the lead. In the final moments, bow to your sensei, Junior. That's right, it's sensei to Eli Junior Croup for the equalizer 2-2 final. Burnley versus Man City. Burnley burns themselves with some own goals. Nuno strikes goal with a goal of his own. And cue the blonde stallion. That's right, Holland galloping in at the last minute with 2 goals of his own to bury Burnley 5-1. Then it's Forest versus Sunderland. Oh my God. It's Omar Adderley with a header in the 9th minute. Forest hogged the possession, but Sunderland gets the win. And then Wolves versus Spurs. Bruno scored a Bueno goal off a corner to give Wolves the lead, looking to send Spurs slipping again, but in the 94th minute.
That was so cheap.
Jow, do you like me now? That's right. Palhinha with the goal with a 1-1 draw in the final. Villa versus Fulham. Jimenez flicked one early, and then it was Ali Oxenfree with a flick of his own. McGinn lasered one, and Buendia said, "A good day to you, sir," as Villa finally grabbed their first win 3-1. He who must not be named, that's Valdemar for Newcastle, ahead in the 34th minute, but they soiled the bed late as Mourinho, clutch as Dan Marino, leveled it. And then Arsenal's guardian angel Gabriel rose up with a death blow, crushing Castle 2-1. Connor's got thoughts on this later. Let's talk some ball.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, how about that?
What was Nick Pope doing?
Oh my
in goal.
goodness!
He just gonna let it go just to see. If
Yeah, I
could
guess
get
they just
Just
watched.
so they could get a goal kick.
It's like you might as well just lay down and watch the stars.
That's why you're there.
It almost looked like he got shot with a blow dart or something because he just he just fell over.
It's whatever. I mean,
Betting
we
has
look
made
so bad.
Betting has made its way to the Premier League now. Even the players are in on it now.
I think we might be there.
I hope he made a lot of money if he's betting. Golly.
Yeah, so let's talk about what happened this weekend. First of all, Ridge, if you want to, what we call set the table, let us know what the standings look like, and let's go from there.
All right. So as it turns, so there's one game. This is Monday afternoon. There's one game still playing between Everton, I believe, and West Ham. I think it is. I think it's 1-0 Everton right now in the 55th minute or something like that. But their result won't really shake up the table too much. I think they're down lower on the table. Despite losing their first game, Liverpool holds the lead in the first position. Arsenal, the Gunners, are in second place with 13 points. Crystal Palace climbs to third with 12 points after their win over Liverpool. The beloved Tottenham Hotspurs fall down one or two places down to fourth. That will wrap up the top four. Sunderland, the big surprise, I think, is a newly promoted team who is now in the top five and qualifying as it stands today for the Europa League, which is pretty amazing. We'll talk about them a little bit more later. Bournemouth with 11 points is sixth. Man City climbs up to the seventh spot with 10 points. They're definitely on the up and coming. Everton and Jack Grealish are, like we said, playing currently with 10 points. So if they win this and hold that result, they could jump up. Wow, they could jump all the way up to fourth place, third or fourth place. So that is actually a pretty significant.
Yeah, third place.
That would be a pretty significant change in the table. They're up 1-0 right now. Chelsea slides down with that loss to eighth. Brighton is in 10th place with 8 points. Fulham is in 11th place. Leeds in 12th with 8, and that's a tie between Chelsea, Brighton, Fulham, and Leeds with 8 points. With 7 points, Brentford and Man United are in the 13th and 14th spot. Connor's beloved Newcastle United is with 6 points and 15th, sliding down. Aston Villa with the first win of the year and with 6 points in 16th place. Nottingham Forest and Burnley are 17 and 18, 19 and 20 would be West Ham and Wolves, the Wolverhampton Wanderers. So the bottom three being Burnley, West Ham, and Wolverhampton. West Ham has a chance, if they were to pull off a comeback win, to get out of that bottom three. But that's the table as it stands as of Monday afternoon at about 3:11 Central Chicago time.
All right, awesome. Any talking points there that we want to hit before we jump into the big stories, or are we ready to jump in?
I think we're ready.
All right.
I think we'll hit some of. I mean, maybe the only thing that I don't know if we really have like notes on stuff is going to be like Sunderland, like you said, in fifth place. I mean, they're really killing it. I think this is a very unique year for the teams that got moved up. They got promoted. Other than, of course, Burnley's still kind of down there, but they're still fighting. But Sunderland and Leeds, in my opinion, they're doing a pretty good job. Which again, it's not hard whenever you got teams like Newcastle who are crapping the bed week after week. So I just think it's impressive.
Only their defense is what's really stood out to me. They've got some really good defenders, but I think their goalkeeper, he is killing it. I can't think of his name right now. But I only had 29 points in fantasy this past weekend. I mean, he was constantly saving them. Can't remember his name right offhand, but they've only allowed 4 goals, which is tied with or almost. It's like second or third in the Premier League of goals allowed. So that's something to keep an eye on as they continue to. I think they're going to stay there. I think they're there for a while, but we'll see this weekend really with how they stand up against one of the big boys, so to speak, in Man United. But that's not saying much, I don't think, anymore.
Not in today's time.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's take a quick break. We'll come right back, and we'll talk about the top 3 stories from this weekend. Let's talk about the 3 big stories from this weekend. We're going to kick it off, no pun intended, with Liverpool versus Palace. An incredible game. I was watching it on my phone on the way to a weekend excursion with my family, but you guys probably have way more insight than I do. So, Connor, let us know what happened a little bit. Tell us about whether Crystal Palace is real, if this means anything for them, and the implications moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's a big storyline in all seriousness because if you really think about it, Liverpool, they just haven't been playing, I guess, how they usually play. All right, it's really like the last 10 to 15 minutes, that's when they really kind of kick in, and it seems like every week they just score in like the last minute.
They lost their edge.
Yeah,
I feel like they're. I don't know.
It's like the edge returns in the last 10 minutes, but I mean they're still figuring out a way to get it done. But yeah, it's like they've lost their edge a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how they do as the season continues on. I think eventually they're going to get it figured out.
I wish we could be. I mean, how nice it is to not have it figured out and be first. First in the table, still pretty clear of any danger.
Yeah, like Newcastle. I mean, we haven't got it figured out, and I think we're like 14th, 15th.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's lovely.
That's insane that Newcastle is that far down.
Okay, well, you don't have to do that. All right. So how about you just stay over there and we'll pray about it. Okay. So do I think that Liverpool should be worried? Yes, if they can't figure it out. But I think, again, eventually Arne Slot's going to figure it out. Now, the question is like, when is that going to happen? Now, you were asking me, like, do I think that Crystal Palace is the real deal? They're a real threat? At this point, I got to say yes. And I think a huge part of that is obviously their defense. And then I think Henderson, is that the goalkeeper's name?
Jordan, I've got him in fantasy, and he's amazing. Like, I didn't know he was going to be.
Is it Jordan
good.
Henderson? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. And so I think really, again, their defense is just killing it. I was curious to see how Gahey would, perform against Liverpool, considering he was very close to getting sent to Liverpool, and then his own team made that not happen. But I think, again, he's killing it. But again, their defense is just so good, and they're figuring out ways to score. Now, the thing that I'm worried about is like looking ahead at their schedule coming up. Like right now, I think they're on like an 11 or 12 game, not win streak, but like win-draw streak. They haven't lost in like 11 games. I do think that that's going to be coming to an end potentially in October.
Crystal Palace?
Yeah, Crystal Palace.
It's 18, I think. In all competitions.
Is it?
In all competitions is 18.
Okay.
So I think when I was listening this weekend, it was like they haven't lost since April or
Yeah.
something like that, which is insane. But you're saying that coming up, there's some matches that might.
Yeah, so I think like coming up, of course, they have a Europa Conference League game. I would think that they pull that one out. It doesn't. I don't know who the team is they're playing, but it seems like probably a potentially smaller team. But looking just like in the Premier League, Sunday, October 5th, they play Everton. I really think there's a tie there, a draw. But the ones that I really would be worried about is October 18th, they play Bournemouth. Bournemouth is playing lights out right now. Semenyo is going off in all seriousness. Like, he is playing lights out. He's a sleeper player to me. Like, I love him so much, and I think he's a really great player. But the big thing, or the two big games, is going to be October 26th and October 29th. The 26th, they play Arsenal. And then the 29th, in the Carabao Cup, they play Liverpool again, like the third time in like 2 or 3 months.
It's no fun.
And I love them. I don't know if they can do it again, So
Yeah, this almost felt like when they won, it felt like a really big win because I don't think anybody expected them to win at all, which is why I was so curious as to what you guys thought about whether or not they're worth the hype. Because I know every time we talk around the lunch table and I mention something about Crystal Palace, everybody's like, yeah, but they're going to sell everybody off by the time they get good. Like, do they have a legitimate chance to make a run this year, or is just part of the season? By the time we're looking at, March, are they still going to be where they're at now, or are they going to fall? What do y'all think?
Well, keep this in mind. The one that always talks about, they're just a team that, just sells all their players. That's the Liverpool guy. Okay. So of course, if I had millions and millions of dollars to spend, like on Isaac, from Newcastle, then I would say that about other teams too. Do I think they're a real contender? I don't think they'll finish top 5. I think they're definitely going to be, they should be top 10. But yeah, I think they really have a good chance of staying successful. Now, I do think that at some point they're going to probably go on a little streak where maybe it's some draws and some losses. But if they can just keep up this momentum, it's going to be huge, and they're going to be dangerous.
Time will tell. This season is so long. I mean, you're talking about going all the way to May of just, every weekend, and then you got some international stuff, and that's the big thing is if they can stay healthy, which they've got some older players like Mateta and some folks who could be more prone to injury, especially with the long, grueling season. that they have that you play in the Premier League. I think that, like Connor said, I don't really see top 5, but I think potentially top 10. I think something that's important that I think they have now, obviously, is like they know how to win. Like they know what it takes to win because they've done it a lot, and they don't like to lose. And the more as you play those games, and the more you win, and the more you draw, and the less you lose, the more you don't want to win. The more you don't want to lose, and like you kind of you expect to win, which plays a big factor. Now, are they going to be like out talented a lot of times on the pitch? Yes, they will be. I mean, because of the schedule they got coming up. And just because of the talent that is in the Premier League, and just because of the mention of those players that they have, that they don't have big names. They have a bunch of role players.
Yeah.
And so I think that will limit them, I think, in some times, but we could be wrong.
Well, I think the question now on the other side of things is we've talked about Palace for a second. Now let's talk about Liverpool. Is this something that they need to be worried about, or is this just a flash in the pan? I know some people are probably panicking because they've lost one game, but it's just one match. Are we still seeing them as a top 5 team regardless?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hate them so much, but I mean, they're going to be top 5. I mean, again, they're having an off season. They're still first. They've only lost one game.
They've got so much leadership, especially in particular defensively, where they've got to have it with Allison, Becker, and then you've also got Virgil van Dijk, not to mention the best defender on the planet. So they know how to win. They expect to win, and then you just got Mo Salah, in the right wing or wherever he is, or forward or whatever he's playing right now. Fantasy has him as midfielder, but I think something that they're missing, and that I think because he played forward so much, was Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I think he was a big piece. I know with their set pieces, I know particularly they played him forward. He was always up in the top half playing, more of an offensive position, but he was a great defender as well. He's gone now to Real Madrid. Is that where he went? So, I mean, I know one guy's not going to make a huge impact, but I think a guy like that made an impact, who scored so many goals and assisted on so many goals and had so many good clearances defensively, and once again was just another one of those kind of veteran presences who knows how to win. He's gone, and I mean, obviously they've replaced him just fine, and they've got some other key players still, like McAllister, and was Ekitike, was he hurt, or why did he not play?
He was suspended. So during the Carabao Cup game, he had gotten a yellow card like in the 55th minute, and then he scored late to win it, and he decided to take his jersey off. And if you look back at that goal, it was just like handed to him in a silver platter. It was not one of those goals. It was just spectacular where you just take your shirt off. And the look that Arne Slot gave him after that goal was just hilarious. Like, why are you so dumb? What was the point? Yeah. So, I mean, going back to Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think they do have a good player that has replaced him in Frimpong. Now, I think he's still trying to get used to Premier League. I think eventually he can get pretty good. Now, is he ever going to live up to Trent Alexander-Arnold? Probably not. But I think he'll still be a good player. He's very quick. He's very, of course, obviously defensive-minded. But I think his quickness is going to play a huge role. And then, of course, on the other side, they have Kirkez, or however you say it. He has really struggled the last few games. He got subbed off, I think, last week. But I think eventually they're going to figure it out, and especially with them now, of course, having the rat, Isaac. Sorry. Can you like bleep that out? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I hate him. Eventually he's going to start scoring goals, and they're going to figure it all out. But
they'll be fine.
They will be just fine.
They'll be top 4.
Yeah, it's almost the question now of was this the outlier? Will this be one of the only matches that they lose? Because they've looked really, really strong so far. So I think their dominance is probably here to stay. When we come back, we'll come back and talk about Man City and Haaland right after this. All right, we're back. Let's talk about Man City and Haaland in the burn. I called him the blonde stallion, I think is what his name was, because the dude just looks like some kind of mythical creature right now. He's been on an absolute tear. Ridge, let's talk about Haaland and Man City a little bit. What do you think?
It seems as like as Erling Haaland goes, so does Man City. Because he'll just break out in these massive games of having 2 goals or even 3 goals sometimes. And if it's not, he can set the tone with like an early goal. And whenever he gets on a breakaway and that kind of, I mean, he is in control, and he's majestical. He's dominant. He's like a stallion, like we mentioned earlier. But not to mention their pay grade is super high in Man City. The players they got around them are just ridiculous. They're all great international players, and they're all great players for Man City. And not to mention they have one of the best managers in soccer or football, should we say? But I don't know. You can't count them out. You can like last year was a fluke. I feel like as far as like some of the struggles they had, they battled injury all year last year, and like with this year they play Burnley, who is a newly promoted club. JJ Watt is a minority owner of them.
Really?
Yeah. He was on Premier League mornings the other day with the whole gang, and JJ Watt was Skyped in from his I think he was going to his kid's soccer game.
That's insane.
So that was pretty interesting, and there's a lot more of that than you actually think as far as like minority ownership. Man City though, they have none of that. It's like it's majority Saudi ownership and a lot of money.
Care who JJ Watt was.
Yeah, and they have got plenty of spending money, and so I think a lot of that's going to continue to Holland's going to continue to have success if the people like Doku around him and other people like that continue to have successful outcomes like that. I feel like just like we mentioned, they expect to win. They know how to win. Basically, they expect to win, and so that's going to carry them a long way. It was at halftime. It was 1-1 with Burnley, but then they break out for 4 goals, and we know Holland had them late. And you just kind of feel like, really, Holland, you got to do that. Like you got to do that to them.
That's what I like.
And
every
Connor
time,
said, "Heck yeah."
Yeah. Is he on your fantasy?
Yeah, he's on my fantasy.
Oh my gosh.
And I think I was telling y'all at lunch. So I checked fantasy. I was watching another game. I didn't watch Man City all the way through. I think I just kind of watched the highlights of it. But at one point, Holland he had like 10 points. And I think we need to also tell them this, because a lot of people, when they do the Premier League fantasy, they use it through the Premier League app. We use the Sleeper app, so the points might look a little different if you use something different. But he had like 10 points, and he didn't have a goal yet.
Which is not bad.
Yeah, which was not bad on the Sleeper app. Okay, and so at the end, I checked the score, and I saw where he scored one, and I was like, oh, good, I got some points. I didn't check how many he had. Well, then like 2 minutes later, he had another one. So it was just like he had to put the nail in the coffin and break Burnley's heart because, again, like you said, I think it was tied 1-1 at halftime, and they're putting up a good fight, and then it ended up being, 4-1? 5-1?
Yeah, 2 of them were own goals.
Yeah, that was insane.
That sucks.
My thing with Holland when I'm watching him, I've only really started paying attention the past 2 weeks, but like it's like you said a second ago, he can just turn on the jets, whether that's like tactically where it's like out of nowhere, he's going to score in the last minute, or like that goal that he scored last week. It was like he was all the way probably 20 yards behind the defenders, and then next thing you know, he just turns on the jets and he's gone. Like I've never seen somebody accelerate the way that he can accelerate, and he's just a powerful force. Maybe it's because he looks like he's 6'7" or something
he's
like
that
that.
dude.
That's why he is very quick for a big guy.
Yeah, like he's huge, but he can turn it on, which made me think, and I was going to ask you guys today, a little game I wanted to play is this. We're going to segue into our next segment here. If Holland was another athlete, who would he be? So who is your player comp from another sport for Erling Haaland? And we'll start with you, Ridge.
Let's do it by sport.
Okay.
You want to do it by sport?
Yeah, do it by sport.
Let's go basketball.
Okay.
All right. So you just kind of start to think about the things that define Erling Haaland, like freakish, because he is. Okay, long, dominant, can kind of do everything. I think of that's why I was looking. I was trying to, what's his name? Giannis, the Greek freak.
Yes.
For the Bucks, he's like I don't know how tall, but he can shoot the three. He can handle the ball. Antetokounmpo or something like that. I think it is Giannis.
Close enough.
Antetokounmpo.
We're from the South. That'll work.
So someone just like who's a dominant like physical presence, but also like he has a there's like a certain psyche that he carries. Like, did you see that? Like he's not afraid of anybody. Did you see that? I guess it was whenever they played Arsenal last week, and he scored his goal. He grabbed the ball, Holland did, and he threw it in the back of, I think it was either Timbers or
it was Gabriel
or Gabriel's back, dude.
Yeah.
Like he didn't care. Like he is so like well, I don't care. Like that's how the Greek freak is too, Giannis. So I think that would be a very good like basketball comparison. Another one I think that just came to my mind for basketball is KD, Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
For the same reasons. If you just look
he's
at
almost
him.
just like a force. Like you can't
you can't really prepare for him either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you can try, but it's not really going to
he's going to get his kind of thing.
Right.
You just can't let the other guys beat you.
Yeah.
Which I think is it's very similar to him in soccer. I mean, in football.
Who did you have others for other sports?
So then I moved to baseball, and like the freakiest guy in the game in baseball, just as far as like ability. And same thing, preparation is Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
For the Angels, the guy who's their number one pitcher and also their best hitter.
Right.
And he's probably the best hitter, in the American League outside of some other guys. And just for that reason, he's young. He's compelling. I think people flock to him because of his.
He's marketable in a sense.
Oh,
yeah.
That's good.
Who's his sponsor? Is it Puma? Is that who or did he sign a new one?
I have
I can't remember.
not sure.
It was Puma at one point. I'm pretty sure.
Whoever has him is that's like having Messi or
Right.
or Ronaldo.
Yeah. Or at least it's on its way to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Shohei's got New Balance.
Right.
I don't know. That's maybe like New Balance. Maybe he likes that. He likes being kind of like one of the only ones with New Balance. But whoever signs him is very fortunate as far as just how much attention he brings to their brand for sure. Football, I think Julio Jones.
Okay.
So another just big body, dominant presence. He's going to get his kind of thing, and just kind of for all the other reasons we've already talked about. So that's good for me as far as comparisons.
All of these guys too are just huge freakish people that you can't every time I think of Julio Jones, he just looks like Alien versus Predator or something like that. So it's you can't. There's something about physically when you're looking at them that you can't take your eyes off them, but then there's also something about the spectacle of their play as well that's this is amazing. I can't stop watching.
Straight class.
Yeah, exactly. So Connor, who did you have?
Real quick, so I looked it up. Holland is sponsored now by Nike.
Ooh, of course.
So
Good for him.
now for me, what athlete does he remind me of? I definitely would say, in my opinion, I'm going football, of course. Derrick Henry. Okay, so just a freak athlete, but really just size-wise, where it looks like, is he going to be super fast? Is he going to be extremely powerful? Obviously, he looks very powerful, yes. But speed-wise, Holland just doesn't look like somebody that would be that fast, but he is.
Yeah.
And he's very reliable, very consistent. Now, this is I haven't watched NFL in a long time, so I don't really know if Derrick Henry is like this.
No one has.
Yeah, that's true. It's been a couple of years, other than the Super Bowl, of course, just for the commercials. Only thing I would worry about with Holland, he does get injured some. Now, of course, is it a lot? No, but I think it's about once a year. Because last week, I think he injured his back, and he was like a game time decision this week, and so as a fantasy football owner, I was really nervous because, of course, he is going to be your consistent points.
Right.
And
But
thankfully he played, and right now I'm sitting at 130. And
if he wouldn't have played, you'd still been at 100, which is more. I looked today. This is more than everybody else in our league. Still,
It's probably more than all of my points the entire year.
You're at 29 points right now.
Everybody's getting sold tonight.
Waivers are coming in.
Everybody's going. I think it's a great comparison. Now, I'm a baseball guy. Before I got into English Premier League, that was kind of my entry point into sports and stuff like that. And at first, we were talking earlier, and I thought that my comparison was going to be Aaron Judge. But as I was thinking about it, I'm going to zigzag on y'all real quick and give me your thoughts on this. I think that Holland may be more like a Giancarlo Stanton more than he is a Aaron Judge. But maybe he's on his trajectory toward more of an Aaron Judge career. I think traditionally
he's not there yet.
He's not there yet, but he's on his way. He's got that raw power. I mean, every time I look at Giancarlo Stanton, I just think of freak of nature that can just crush anybody in his path. But then Aaron Judge is kind of like the new and improved,
polished.
Yeah, Giancarlo Stanton. So maybe I think that's where my mind is at on it. Is he's somewhere in between those two characters.
So you're saying he can get better?
Oh yeah, I think Holland's ceiling is almost like there's no ceiling whatsoever.
Yeah.
He can continue to improve.
What happens? How does he have? Because I've seen there's games when he'll have 3 or 4 or 5 points. What happens in those games? How does he? Is it just they just control possession more, or whoever they're playing?
Not necessarily. I think it's just the fact that I guess in a way it is kind of they control possession a little more, but it's just like the ball doesn't get to him or he doesn't have the same opportunities. I think it really depends how well his midfield is playing and whether they. And I'm not talking about like those that are out on the wing like Daku and Foden and all them. It's more of like the internal midfielders that I think in a sense kind of control that whether he does good and bad just from what I've seen and what I've experienced through like fantasy. So
if he gets better, watch out. I mean, I don't know what's he going to be doing when he gets better, when he finally gets there. Who knows?
How old is he?
Is he
20?
I mean, is he in his prime
25?
right now? Does he still have years to go?
Yes, he's definitely in his prime.
He's
right
a new
now.
kid on the block. Like he's.
Oh wow!
I mean, he's.
That's why I was saying
that good.
I'd never heard his
He's
name
that
before,
young.
but like I feel like there's still potential for
What's
him.
your
to
guess,
grow.
Jake? Guess how old is he? Just by looking at him. Don't tell us yet, Connor.
26.
Okay, I was gonna say 24, 24.
25. He's
So right in the
25.
middle.
Yeah, right in the middle.
we split the difference right
25. Wow.
there. All right, so that's our takes on who our comps for Holland. When we come back, we'll talk about Connor's rant for Newcastle. Stay tuned. It's going to be great. Our third story is basically
What are you laughing about, Jake? Tell the people what you're laughing about.
We're laughing about the fact that my fantasy team could have lost.
That's not the
What's the best way to say this? My entire fantasy team scored 34.25 points this week.
There it is.
And Holland alone for Connor scored 34.5. So one player on Connor's fantasy
I could
team.
have put everyone on the bench but Holland.
How
in
do
one.
11 players score 34 points?
That is rough.
I mean, and I got the first pick in the draft.
You did.
too.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. Salah's not doing anything for me.
that's what everybody else would have picked. Maybe Holland.
That is what everyone would have picked. I would have picked Salah so fast.
Would you pick them over Holland?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
After last year? Oh, for sure. Because he was like 100 points over Holland
Yeah.
That's insane.
at the end of the season.
Maybe it's just some jinx of some kind, but who knows? All right, so here we go. For the last segment, we've got Arsenal versus Newcastle, and what I'm going to do is just turn it over to Connor and let him give us his rant about the current state. We'll call it the State of the Union address with Connor. All right, Connor, take it away. What's up with Newcastle?
God bless. I wish I knew.
Where do you begin?
Where do you begin? I'd say we had a pretty successful summer of transfers, obviously, other than the fact that we lost Isak or the Rat, to Liverpool. But I was really excited. We got Alanga in, we got Wisa, we got Voltamata. But we're just not clicking. Like I think this year of course we only have one win in the Premier League, and then I think we got one win in the Carabao Cup, maybe two wins. I can't remember. But we're just not firing on all cylinders. Our defense looks pretty stinking good, but I think that's also part of the issue. We just look so defensively minded, and we are not pushing the ball forward. But yeah, this weekend when we played Arsenal, I went crazy when Voltamata put that header in, which again, I'll say this, I don't know if y'all had heard this. When Voltamata came to Newcastle, everybody was saying like, yeah, he's very good at shooting. He's really good at dribbling, but everybody's like, oh, he sucks at headers. Well, the funny thing is he's got 2 goals for us and both of them have been headers.
That was impressive.
Yeah. I'm just
that.
waiting for him to actually shoot one by foot, and I will be so excited. But whenever when we went up 1-0, I was so excited, and we held on to that until the 85th minute. And then it all just started to fall apart. And here's the funny thing. You can ask my wife, when they added extra time before halftime, I said, we have got to score in extra time here because Arsenal is going to come out and they're going to score 2. I said that. You can ask my wife. And of course, I just had to jinx it and be right. And of course, we didn't score another one.
You looked wrong for a long time. Usually, right after half is when you see there's always a goal between the 45th and 50th minute.
It seems like that.
There's
all the
always
time.
something, and then you figured Arsenal would be able to come out and make some kind of hit something, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Y'all held it.
And so, of course, that was just exciting. But of course, I was just so nervous. And we get to the 85th minute, and they put that first header in. Nick Pope had done so good at stopping shots. But on that one, it just looked like he was so lost. I guess he thought that it was going outside the post, but he just watched it, and it just went right in. And it's like I don't know.
It was almost like he was frozen in time for a second.
He crapped the bed there, and I'm so frustrated.
Your heart
about
sank.
Oh my gosh!
You just felt oh my God, here we go again.
That's exactly how
it's just 1 point at best.
Yeah,
you're getting 1 point.
Well, and that's the thing. That's exactly what was going through my head. I was like, I wanted to. Of course, we want to win every week, but we've only won one game. I was like, we've got to win this. It looked like we're going to. They tied up, so obviously I'm like, well, crap, we're going to get another 1 point. And then, of course, in the whatever it was,
6 minutes of extra time.
Yeah, 6 minutes of extra time. Gabriel puts it in, and I was just so upset.
Was that a set piece?
Of course it was. So yeah. So obviously, I don't know if y'all know this, but I mean, I'm sure you do. Arsenal. That's their big thing is set pieces. So I saw this statistic before we came in here to shoot. Do y'all know how many goals Arsenal has scored since the beginning of the 2023 season by set pieces? Or just by corners? Just
corners alone?
20.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess 35.
Wow.
Very close, 36.
Wow.
And
that's incredible.
And yeah, well, of course,
3 years, 2 years.
Newcastle had to be on the end of this last one, but we got to figure out something. I believe in Eddie Howe. I think he's a great coach, but something is just not clicking.
Is Alanga not better than someone on that's starting?
So, not right now
to bring excitement or something.
He's got the pace. He's so fast.
Because I know him and Chris Wood from when he was at Forest last year.
Oh yeah, they would link up
tandem like crazy.
But he's super fast. He's got amazing pace, but it's just like his crosses just haven't connected with anyone in the middle yet. And so right now, who they've started over him is Murphy. Yeah, I mean, Murphy had
he's doing good.
A great season last year. He can score some absolute beautiful goals. He can cross the ball really good. And so I think eventually Alanga takes over that position, but he's just not there yet. I'll just be excited whenever Wisa gets back from his injury. I think that'll be after the international break. But again, Arsenal pulled a Liverpool there, and it was so heartbreaking.
Miraculous.
But yeah, that's where we're at.
I think honestly that my next question, because I'm so new to this, I don't really understand what's going on and how typical this is, but was this just a case of that Arsenal is really, really good, or is it that Newcastle is just really, really bad right now? Is it a mix of both? Where do y'all stand on that hold?
I think it's a mix of both, but to be more specific, it is Newcastle being very bad in the second half. So we always look so good, or at least pretty good, especially against big teams in the first half. We're pressing. We're all over the place. We are putting the pressure on. It looks great. The issue is that we can never keep that up the second half, and that's when it's just always devastating. It's like we get scored on in the second half. So I think Arsenal is really good. They really have a chance this next weekend to go ahead of Liverpool if Liverpool loses to Chelsea, and of course we'll get into that a little bit later on.
Who's Liverpool play? I mean, who's the Arsenal play? Is it Leeds? Or
I think it's West Ham.
It's somebody that they should beat.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's West Ham. Yeah, it's West Ham. So they should easily beat West Ham, but of course maybe West Ham is picking up score. Bowen will score probably one. As we're talking, it is now tied up between West Ham and Everton. Bowen scored one to tie it up.
Just a few minutes left to go.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with Newcastle, not Arsenal. I think they're a good team. I think they're definitely going to finish top two. But I think we just choked like we have all season so far.
Now you're saying Arsenal will end up in top two, or no?
I think they're going to have some injuries or something happen where they're not top two.
Where do you see Newcastle by the end of the season?
I really don't know right now. I'm hoping at least top 10. A lot of people were predicting us to get like 6th or 7th before the season started. If we keep this up, that's not going to happen. But I mean, of course, at the end of the day, I just pray that we're not in relegation.
You shouldn't be. There's some bad relegations. There's some bad teams like Wolves with 1 point, and Tottenham gave them that 1 point with a draw this week.
Yeah.
So that was exciting. I think Arsenal is that good. I think Arsenal has the potential to be that good. They have superstars on defense, midfield, and forwards, and in the front, and their keeper's great. I was watching Arteta's interview this right before we came over here, talking about like the scars that they've kind of built over the last few years from injuries and losing close ones at St. James Place in particular.
Yeah.
And how they've just grown from that. And so, I mean, I think Arsenal's kind of in a good place. They've been so close to winning it the last few years. But they just haven't. This may be the year, especially if Liverpool can't figure some stuff out. I don't think Newcastle's going to finish in the bottom 10. I don't think so. I think they'll figure some stuff out. They've got great experience, especially with their what do they call it? The gaffer. Is that what they call the gaffer? Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe.
He's a good. I mean, everybody likes him, right? Like he wouldn't be. They wouldn't even consider firing him, would they? If
I personally hope not, because I mean, whenever England was trying to hire a new coach, of course, there was a lot of rumor that it was going to be Eddie Howe. So I really hope they don't, because I mean,
how much better can they get? You know, like what they've got right now.
Yeah, I don't.
With who's available, kind of thing.
Know. I think it'll just be exciting when we get Wisa in there from again injury, like I said.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Wisa's not a big name, but he finished, I think, like top 5 in goal scoring last year. He had 20 goals, and so maybe now, of course, if he was at a different team, so we'll see how it goes. But I think there's some good potential in the future, but we've got to figure something out.
Yeah, I don't think there's any as an outsider who's new to the sport. They look like they've got what it takes to be a great team. There's just some small chemistry issues that are causing some breakdowns toward the end of the games.
Yeah.
Fatigue, maybe, chemistry, whatever you want to call it. But I think they can ride the ship out. It's like Rich said earlier, it's a long season. There's still a lot of game to be played. And who knows, this might be some crazy comeback story that we see, or it could be the opposite end of it. I don't know. They're my wild card team right now of like, I don't really know what to think of them.
Yeah.
I think that they're good based on what I see because I see potential. But it's almost like, again, using an MLB comparison of everybody thought the Braves, after they won the 2021 World Series, were going to continue that run.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, look at them now. Like, they're absolutely just nowhere to be found. So I think they're a team to watch. And speaking of things to watch, we'll come back after this and talk about what's coming up this week and our must-watch matches. We'll see you in a sec. All right, we're back with a segment we like to call Awards of the Week. We've got a Player of the Week and a Clown of the Week. We'll start it off with Ridge. Ridge, tell us your Player of the Week.
Player of the Week. I guess Erlen Haaland, right? I mean, from what he was, and I kind of feels cheap because it was like in the last 3 minutes of a game that they should have won. I guess I kind of just got caught up in all the things that we've talked about him being able to do and what all he's been able to do. I think he brings such a presence for Man City, and I just think he's going to continue to do what he did. Most importantly, though, the Clown of the Week, I think, and this is not just because he's on my fantasy team, and it's not just because he's hurting me several weeks in a row. It's Bruno Fernandes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good.
That's a great.
You know,
that's a great take.
And I texted in the group message as soon as Man United got fouled in the box, I said, you know who's going to take it for them, and it's their captain, Bruno Fernandes.
Capitan.
And he is so just his smug look that he has on his face, but he's a midfielder for me, and he needs to get points, and he does get a lot of points.
Yeah.
When he scores, but I think 2 weeks ago he had a blown penalty, and so I just texted the group and I said, "Does Bruno choke here?" Knowing the answer, of course, before I even sent it. And so of course we watch, and it was a great kick. He kicked it at the bottom right corner. It was going in. Had the goalie not read it perfectly and everything, but you've got to find a way to put that away.
Yeah.
You've got to find a way to.
I think he's had 3 PKs this year, and he's missed 2 of them.
Yeah, he's missed 2. Missed 2 or one's been saved. So I just think that's the Clown of the Week.
I was watching that match, and if you go back and watch the replay at the very end, they did a close-up of him, and it felt like they were on his face for probably 2 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking to myself, I've never seen somebody who looks more dead inside than
That's
this
how we
man.
all felt, too. I mean, even though
just like,
there's so many people that are so happy that that's happening to him, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You're just like, come on, man. Like, how can you not get right? Can you just get right at home?
that's
Was
insane.
it at home? I think it was at Brentford.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
Where,
sure.
regardless, it tickled everybody to see him miss again.
All right, Connor, who you got?
Well, kind of going off that just for a second, I think one thing that'll be interesting to see is if Man United gets another PK, like, does he take it?
I was gonna ask the same thing. If later in that game, if they got another one, would he take it?
Who's their other option?
I would say who's the right winger?
It's Mabumo.
Yeah, I think. Give
I
him a
would say
chance, maybe?
I would because I think he was Brent. I think he played at Brentford, right?
Yeah.
I think he was Brentford's. I could be wrong on that. Actually, it might have been Weiss. I don't know.
But-
I think that's your next best option.
But how dumb do you look if you put him on the spot again and he does the same thing?
Oh,
Yeah.
Because he's thinking about it. He was thinking about it before he got up and took that first one.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like he's got the yips.
And you
but
can't help
for-
it.
At this point, yeah, it's in his head.
I don't blame
He
him
can't
for
do
thinking
it.
that.
Yeah. So for my, what are we calling this?
Player of the week.
My player of the week. One that you probably don't think about. So this is a former Newcastle player. And they didn't win the game. They drew the game, but they're talking about Leeds. Sean Longstaff is a midfielder for them. He used to, again, last season, he was at Newcastle. But I'm not going to lie, I'm going to base this a little bit off of fantasy.
Right.
Okay. He had 1 assist. So it ended 2-2. He had 1 assist, 1 goal. He had 7 key passes into the box, and he ended the week on fantasy with the most points. And if you would have had him, 39 points.
Crazy.
Now, of course, some of you are probably like,
Checks waivers immediately.
that's what you're checking waivers. I still don't know if I would pick him up because it was the first good game he's had all season. But he's definitely my player of the week. I really like Longstaff. He didn't really do a ton the last couple of years for Newcastle United, in my opinion. But for clown of the week, and here's where my yeah.
We gotta get that sound.
For me, it is obviously Again, we're from the South, so you can all please just forgive us if we say names wrong. I think it's like Esteve or something. Esteve, however you say it, from Burnley that had the 2 own goals.
Oh, God bless his
I don't know if y'all saw, but he
Bless his heart.
bless his heart. He joined a very unique club in Premier League where there's only like 5 or 6 other players in Premier League history that have ever had 2 own goals in one game. Now, if you go back and you look at the own goals, he was really trying to defend on both of them. It wasn't like it was just like
Like trying to clear it.
yeah, just like cleared into the back of the net. Like it was him going for it and just happened to hit off of him. So I will give him a little bit there. But at the same time, like you have joined a very unique.
Everybody's got to
club.
make history some way.
Yeah. Unfortunately for him, it was a very bad way to make
He'll be
history.
in the history books for the wrong reason.
So he's my clown for the week. But yeah, that's where we're at.
All right, here's who I've got. I was thinking on the spot. So for I'll go chalky here, just based on the little knowledge that I have. Katike for player of the week, last minute goal against Liverpool to knock them off their high horse.
Yeah.
First time, a great shot with literally seconds left in the game, almost like hitting a buzzer beater in basketball or something like that. Is what it felt like. Or like a walk-off homer or something.
I'm about to say, it'd definitely be something bigger than a last-second shot.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
It was insane. So that was cool. And then just because I thought it was funny, my clown of the week is Nick Pope when he fell on his butt, when he just froze in time and just watched the goal roll in.
I mean, he played a great. He was great otherwise, right?
Yeah, he
was. But you got to be great all the time. Like, you got to be great in that moment.
You're not wrong. He did look like an absolute clown for what. After that goal just went by him, he just kind of stood there and he like made some like weird like motion, like he was like trying to hit it or something.
Yeah.
And fell to his butt. It just looked awful.
I thought he had a stroke when I was watching. I was like,
it definitely looked like it.
So when we come back, real quick, we'll end things off with our upcoming matches of the week, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back with our must-watch matches of the week. We're going to start off with Ridge. Ridge, who have you got?
I'm excited for Sunderland traveling to Old Trafford for to play Man United. I think this has all the ingredients for a massive upset. And can you imagine Ruben losing at Old Trafford to a newly promoted team who is more than capable of beating them? As Sunderland sits, in fifth, we say fifth in the table. If Ruben is still there,
I was about to say if he's not gone this week and he loses to Sunderland, he's gone
because they play Sunderland and it don't get any easier with we got Liverpool then after that, so they have got to take advantage of this one at home. But I wouldn't not be surprised to see Sunderland
So if he
either
loses-
draw or beat them.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your prediction, and that's why you're watching.
I'll give you the prediction right here.
Okay,
2-1 Sunderland.
all right.
I don't know where the 2 goals come from Sunderland because I don't know anything about their offense, but I know their defense is good. 1 goal, probably an own goal because their defense is so active.
Okay, great. I love it. All right, Connor, what you got?
Obviously, I think the big game of the week is going to be Chelsea versus Liverpool. The question is, does Liverpool bounce back? In my personal opinion, I think they do. Of course, I would love to see Chelsea pull off that win, but I think Cole Palmer is still injured, and so I doubt he plays in that game. There's a chance. I'm not sure how long he's supposed to be out, but I think that's going to be the big game to watch because if Chelsea does win and if Chelsea wins and Arsenal wins, then Arsenal will overtake Liverpool by a point. And so I think that's going to be the big one. I guess my prediction for that, I do think Liverpool will win. So I'm going to say 2-1 Liverpool. And then, of course, I do have to mention this because I am a Newcastle fan. I'm so devout. I think a big one also should be Newcastle and Forest. That is a must-win game for us. We've got to have a win. So I think hopefully, prayerfully, Newcastle wins 1-0.
You can beat Ange.
I hope.
And Forest, yeah.
Yeah, those are both great. I'll take Everton and Crystal Palace. I want to see if the Crystal Palace hype is real, if I made the right choice. So obviously I'll be watching that match. Everton, I hear, is sneaky, and they can pop up on you at any second. So I think that'll be a good test of how sustainable this train that they're riding right now is, how long it's going to last. But my prediction, I'll give it a hedge bet where I'm happy either way. I'm going to say that they draw 1-1, Everton and Palace. That way, I won't say they lose, but I don't expect them to keep it going as long as...
I agree with you. I think that's going to be a draw. I think I was going to say 1-1. Again, Crystal Palace's defense is going to be great. The big thing, of course, obviously they're going to have to worry about is Jack Grealish. He is having an outstanding year. And so Ridge just had his little, favorite video pop up, probably a history video because we teach history. I think that'll be an exciting one to watch.
Any other thoughts before we end off the episode?
I think that's good. It's going to be an exciting week. And then, of course, we have international break, which is always
the worst
so sad.
Week ever is
Hey,
international break.
thankfully, is that the same week we're off for break as well?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this next weekend, which starts our fall break, we have a game, and then international break is the second weekend.
So we'll have lots to talk about when we come back from break. So we'll and we'll play it off like that. Thanks for joining us for the first episode of Premier Period. We'll see you guys next time.
Have a good one.
Sick.